Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today on this Ambitious Outcomes special series with my awesome friend, Rich Bracken. I'm just making sure that everything is pulling up and we are good to go, which as of now, I don't see anything happening. So hopefully Hopefully we're live. Okay, there's one. Yes, it's happening.
There
It is
it is.
happening. There's always such a delay, and I never know, but we are good to go. Awesome. So if you
Technology will
guys,
never let us have the upper hand ever.
I know, right? Oh, you know what? I forgot to put in my AirPods. So people are gonna have to tell us if we sound okay and we're like not talking over each other. That's actually something I just realized because last time or the last couple times I do this with guests, the audio gets weird. So
Huh.
let me know. Okay, I see some people here. Let me know if we sound okay, everyone who's here. But we are good to go. Oops, that was me turning it on. So let me know when you guys are here. Say hello and let me know that we sound okay. So, this is my monthly ambitious outcome series where I go live for you all to share my insights, tips, and experiences to help you guys maximize LinkedIn and get incredible results. And of course, when I am not sharing my content and going live with you all, myself and my team are doing this for clients and providing LinkedIn strategy and LinkedIn training for enterprises. So if you ever know of anyone who is looking for LinkedIn help, LinkedIn training, LinkedIn speaking, I would be more than happy to talk to them. So keep us in mind for that. So let me know when you guys are here. Sounds good so far. Awesome. Thank you guys for letting me know. Hey, Michael. Hey, John. Hey, Raquel. Hey, Rebecca. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I am so excited to have my awesome friend Rich here with us today. And Rich is a global keynote speaker, an emotional intelligence coach, a podcast host, a TV personality, a bunch of other amazing things, and more importantly, he's an incredible human being who is a lot of fun. And today we are going to talk about the one thing that LinkedIn's most successful accounts, including business and personal accounts, have in common, and why this one thing is a game changer. And it really is the differentiator between mediocre success and amazing success. So I am super excited to be talking about that today. Rich, thank you again for joining me. I would love for you to give just a quick little intro to the beautiful people who are joining us today.
Hey, Mandy, great to see you, and thank you so much for having me here. I think now, based on that introduction, I need to add "and a partridge in a pear tree" to the end of my bio.
Yes.
But I do all the things that Mandy talked about, and I'm also the director of strategic partnerships at an organization called Foundry here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We specialize in software design and user experience and everything that you need to make your digital business work perfectly. And I'm really excited to talk with you today because you and I are on the same page as far as this concept goes. And I'm like, just the idea, I mean, this is going to be like a really good jazz session. Like, it's just going to be one instrument playing off of the other, putting together a beautiful sonnet of how you could be different on LinkedIn.
Uh-huh.
So I'm
Yep.
so I'm so grateful that you have me here.
Yes. No, I'm so glad you're here as well. Rebecca says Rich is the best. So you already have some super fans here joining us. It's amazing.
And the checks will go through. I promise. Anybody who's applauding me in the audience, your checks will be there. Promise.
I love it. I love it. So I want to start off by, you talk a lot about emotional intelligence and the giving mentality, right? And so I want to talk a little bit about what we're seeing on LinkedIn right now and how many people are just out for themselves and we call them takers, right? And it's funny because I was just on a client training the other day and people are saying like I'm getting sick of LinkedIn. Like all I get are spam. Like people are just out for themselves. Like honestly, I'm kind of over it, and that makes my heart hurt, right? Because this is my passion. This is what I love, and I'm on the complete opposite side of the spectrum. So I want to know your thoughts on like what you're seeing with that. Are you seeing the same thing?
Oh, absolutely. And I think too, when you think of the law of averages, like LinkedIn's growing it has been growing for the last several years and is continuing to grow, especially in the pandemic, by astronomical numbers. So the law of averages means you're going to have those people that are going to be bad actors and people that are going to come in with the wrong intention. And
Mm-hmm.
I have seen an uptick like I've never seen before on this platform. And I like you, like this is like a sister brother. I love this platform. It is fostered so many wonderful relationships and opportunities that you hate to see people come in and treat it like a commodity, like it's a place to come and just do whatever they need to do, and they're just rapid fire emailing and you're getting spammed. I got one the other day, got my name wrong and didn't even know what company I worked for. So there's that. So it's gotten to a garbage level. And yes, a lot of people are getting tired of it. But the benefit is that you're going to be able to weed those people out really quickly. Yes, there's going to be some annoyances, but it'll settle down after a little while. And hopefully some things can be tightened up to cut back on this kind of behavior.
Yes, I agree. And for those of you who are joining us, let me know in the comments if you guys also have seen like a massive uptick in these types of, I don't even know what you want to call it, I don't want to call it like abuse, but
it's close. It's close. It's we'll call it the modern day door-to-door effect. Like, yes. I don't, I had, which I was shocked. I had the first door-to-door salesperson show up in my door the other day. And the first time I'm like, yeah, I thought he was selling vacuums. He was selling insect repellent, but his behavior was the exact same as a lot of these in-mails that I've been getting. So I was kind of like, I feel like I'm in my LinkedIn inbox right now in real time. This is really weird. So,
right.
But yeah, it's bad.
Oh, no, it really is. And so, that's why we are here today to talk about the opposite of doing that. So we want to give you guys the tips so you aren't included in the group of vacuum door-to-door salespeople, right? so without dragging that on a little bit more, the whole draw of this LinkedIn and the whole point of going live and talking about this is to tell you guys the number one thing that is working right now that all successful LinkedIn users have in common. And that is the mentality of giving, the passion for helping people, for giving without the expectation of getting anything in return. And when you do that, you're going to stand out because there's so many people not doing that and taking the lazy approach, and they're just in it for themselves and for their pocketbooks, and they don't genuinely care about helping people. And so it's really super simple, you guys. This isn't like a, some sort of crazy like tactic that Rich and I like we're in a lab like dreaming up, like, ooh, we got this one thing. Exactly. No, it's super simple. It's something that Rich and I we live our lives and our business lives, our personal lives, and we do this naturally, right? Like, we are givers. We give. We want to help people. It's in our blood. So it's easy for us to do that. And I know that not everyone, is like us in terms of like how we can just talk and share content galore, easily. And I get that, but we are here today to help you guys kind of grasp that mentality of giving, because that is genuinely what's working on this platform right now, is people sharing their value, and it comes across in a way that is passionate and it's natural. It's not forced. Do you agree with that, Rich? Like, there's a difference between forced helping people and like naturally wanting to help people.
Oh my gosh, yes. And two, it's really easy to sort those people out. I mean, you truly know when somebody's got your best interest at heart and wants to see you be successful, whether it's directly from them or not. And so when you talk about giving, I also think about connecting and solving problems. And it doesn't always have to be you. And, I've spent a lot of time in the professional services industry working with people that were very specific in what they had to offer. And they would get frustrated, especially on LinkedIn, when they were thinking, well, I'm prospecting and I'm doing all these things and I'm not getting any business. I'm like, well, if you work in mergers and acquisitions and somebody's not buying or selling anything, why would they engage you? But if you become a solution provider, if you become a connector, if you find out what their needs are and then become that resource, you then build trust through humility. You become that person that is seen as a resource of resolve and not necessarily the person that's pushing on one thing, trying to get that one thing through, and it may be a square peg in a round hole all day long. So if you go in that mentality, and you talked on it at the very beginning, it's that mentality of humility. It's that mentality that it's not about me. It's about the client. It's about the individual that you're trying to work with. What do they need? And think about the last time somebody solved a problem for you that had no skin in the game. Somebody that said, oh, you need this. I'm happy to introduce you to somebody else. That feels really good. And you always hold that person in a higher light because of that fact, because they weren't out for themselves. They were out to take care of you.
100%. And this is what I this is what I preach in my sales training, even for sales reps, on LinkedIn training is you want to be the number one industry resource. You want people to see you as an industry resource. It's not about your company and all the great things you can do. It's about you helping people and being that solution, just like you said. So if you guys aren't a good fit, connect them with someone who is, send them helpful information that's not just giant sales pitches. And so when you come across as that industry resource that is genuinely out to help other people, you are going to win all day, every day, especially over the bozos who are just blasting InMails and trying to sell, and there's genuinely not enough people out there with that mentality. Do you agree?
I agree 100%. Well, and I will say, I kind of look at it like society. Like, I feel like there are a lot of great people in society. It's the really bad actors and bad offenders that we hear the most about because they tend to be the more squeaky wheels. So when we think about LinkedIn, there's 750 million people on there or something ridiculous now. The few people, the handful, the dozen or two that I get InMails from don't ruin the other couple 100 million people. And
Right.
what I always say is, and this is kind of a twofer, a little LinkedIn twofer here, is that when you connect with somebody or you're talking with somebody or you're trying to engage and develop a relationship, your network winds up becoming your biggest asset. And so a lot of people will say, like, don't just go collect connections. Don't just hoard people just to have higher numbers. But what I have found is that the more people I add to my network and genuinely pay attention to who they are, I now have this great network of resource providers that if you came to me and said, hey, and I said, what do you need to be successful, Mandy? Well, I need an SEO specialist. I can go into my network and find somebody that I know and that I have some sort of a connected trust to and say, oh, I don't know, I've known Jack about that, but I'm happy to introduce you to these two or three people that can do it for you. So then your network actually becomes an asset to you that you can leverage those people in your network to make that connection, to find the solution for the person that you're trying to develop the relationship with. Because you may not need what I have right now, but then if you say, oh my gosh, Rich totally took care of me. He hooked me up with this person. They knocked it out of the park. I now have this, I guess, this auxiliary good faith with you because I have done something for you without me having to have any benefit out of it.
Totally. Yeah. I'm so glad you brought that up because on my corporate LinkedIn training the other day, someone in the audience asked, and I get this a lot, is should we accept everyone? So if we get connection requests, like, do we only accept it from people we know? Do we accept it from everyone? And like, what does that look like? And so my answer was accept people who you feel like you can have a win-win relationship with. It doesn't have to be a prospective client necessarily, but someone that looks legitimate on their LinkedIn profile, right? Clearly isn't a spammer, and you feel like there might be some sort of win-win relationship you can form, accept them. There is no harm in accepting them. I'm not saying you need to go and hit accept to every single person. I'm not saying to do that. And I'm not saying that you have to know them. I know that word is, depends on who you ask what that means. Like, oh, I emailed them, I know them, right? But it's just one of those things where the bigger your network, just like you said, the more opportunities you're going to have. A, to help people, and B, to get business. Because the way, and this is what we talk about too in my sales training, is the more people you're connected to, the more introductions you can get from people, the more name dropping you can do, right? So the more you build up your network with legit, awesome people, regardless if you ever end up doing a transaction with them or not, you are going to increase your opportunities 100-fold because you have all of these different connections. I have a secondary connection that knows so-and-so. Oh, let me reach out to them and see how well they know them. See if I can name drop, whatever it is. And then just like you said, Rich, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, right? So the moment you help someone without anything in return, they're going to think of you. And so when things come up, things that you do, oh, well, Mandy just helped me, a couple months ago find this awesome writer. I have a client that now needs LinkedIn training. Who do you think they're going to go to? Obviously me, because I helped them, when they needed it. And so there's so many benefits, like you mentioned, of building your connections on LinkedIn and having an open mind and not just making it, oh, well, they're not going to be a client of mine, so I'm not going to accept.
Sure. And two, I think I love the way you put it. The win-win philosophy is a big one because two, I'm discreet to a point, who and I'm very selective about who I accept in my network when I get requests. But at the same time, like if, I give people the benefit of the doubt. Like if they're trying to connect with me, great. If they want to follow me, that's fantastic. But I promise you, I have learned quickly how to disconnect a connection, because if I accept you and all of a sudden you're pinging my inbox with some sort of a pitch and you've literally not even said hello to me or, hey, thanks for the connection, and it literally looks like a templated email, sorry, but don't let the
Bye.
door hit you. Right,
Yep.
exactly. And so,
Yes.
and I actually did this not too long ago, and we talk about the expansive network, because some people will say, well, so and so has a network of 15,000 people. How can they don't know all these people? You're right. I have, a substantial network. I don't know everybody in my network, but what I can do is say, oh, Mandy is looking for an SEO expert. I can go look at my first degree connections that have SEO within their title or within their description. And if there's somebody that I know a little bit better than them, I can reach out and say, hey, Sarah, can you tell me more about this person? I know that they're a mutual connection of ours. You're connected with them as well. Can you tell me a little bit about them? I'm really trying to help out my friend Mandy, and I want to make sure that I get her the right person. Again, all of those touch points.
Yeah.
You're keeping relevant. You're keeping the relationships going. You're keeping touch points in front of people. So now it's not just you. I've now connected with this other person that is going to give me a referral to this individual that I'm connected to, which sounds weird that somebody would introduce me or vouch for somebody that I'm connected to, but that's the game here.
Yep.
And then if this person passes that test, now I've got another touch point to say, hey, look, Tim, I have this great friend, Mandy, who's looking for an SEO expert. Can you reach out to her? You came highly recommended by so-and-so. Think about all the great touch point connections. I always call it the Kevin Bacon effect of LinkedIn. You've now connected all these sources with trust and with good things. So now I've now looked at somebody as a trusted resource. I've now gone to Tim because he's an SEO expert. I've connected Tim and Mandy because there's a need there. So, and I'm sitting in the middle of this. So, I'm a little bit taller than Kevin Bacon, but I'll take that relationship all day long.
Yes. No, I love it. I love it. And it's just like taking just a little bit of effort to do this, right? And I think that's what people don't, it's that people are selfish. I mean, let's get real. A lot of people are selfish and they're out for themselves,
Right.
And so it's kind of exhausting for them to think of like, I'm going to take time out of my busy day to look at my connections to help someone, And it's that mentality that doesn't get you very far, And I feel like that's what we're trying to get across here is for us as a society on, let's just say LinkedIn, as a LinkedIn community, everyone, is to embrace more of that helping mentality of giving and not taking, because the universe will return the favor. I mean, it always does. The more you give back, you're getting it somehow back in return, right? So you're giving to people
Absolutely.
and you get it back. I mean, that's just how it works.
Right. And what I will say is that having been a salesperson in the past, I understand what it's like to need to hit your quota numbers or to raise your goals or do those things. But what I also will say is that there is such value in the relationship build, taking your time, pacing your communications, deepening the relationship. Because I'll put it into realistic terms. If you took 100 people and put them in a room, and let's say that is your LinkedIn network, that's your prospect list on LinkedIn, are those 100 people. If you put those 100 people in a room, let's say at a networking event, they're all in person, and you are going person to person going, hey, Mandy, do you want to buy something? Hey, Sarah, do you want to buy something? Hey, Tim, do you want to buy something? But what is that going to make you look like? And yes, we can't see that because you're in mailing all of us one by one, and I don't know what's in your box and you don't know what's in mine and vice versa. But at the same time, like, that mentality will destroy your reputability. And when you deepen a relationship, when you show genuine interest, when you show that you care about people, yes, it seems like it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort. It should, because we like having that done to us. So why wouldn't we do it to other people? And the people that you have deeper relationships with are more willing to go to bat for you, more willing to keep you in mind for referrals. So I'll take that all day long. So if I've got 5,000 people that are working on my behalf because they like me versus 100,000 that I've just pinged with some random templated email, I'll take the 5 over the 100 all day long.
Totally. And my good friend Bryn Tillman, who's also a LinkedIn sales trainer, says always slow down the outreach to speed up the outcome. So
I
slow
love
down
that.
what you guys are doing to speed up the outcome, because it is about building genuine relationships. It's not about blasting 100 emails a day and hoping you get one taker. That's not what it's
Mhm.
about. It's about building genuine relationships. So be strategic about it. So in our training, we go through this whole process on how to build genuine relationships. It's just like what you said earlier, Rich, on the moment I accept someone's connection request and they send me a sales pitch, bye, you're gone.
Right.
Adios, you know, sayonara,
Right.
you're over. I don't want anything to do with you anymore. So this whole process of actually being a real human being, like you treat people in person, you know, and not being a weirdo. Like my whole thing is like, don't be weird. Don't be weird and don't be salesy. So engage with people's content ahead of time before you even reach out to
Right.
them. If you really want to connect someone, go check out their content, go comment on it. Talk to
Mhm.
them about how great their content is or how awesome their company is, and then start a meaningful, legitimate conversation that has nothing to do with you pitching. You know, like it seems common sense, but clearly it's not, because we're seeing this epidemic of
Right.
spammers on LinkedIn.
Right. And you said at the outset, like this wasn't concocted in a lab by you and I, although I wish it would have been. It
Right.
is a basic golden rule concept. This is something that we learned in grade school. You know,
Yes.
care for other people, treat other people how you want to be treated. And that is a lost art. And it's
It is.
terrible to say it out loud. And it's so bad to say, like, hey, we're gonna do a really creative, innovative LinkedIn Live, and it's all about the golden freaking rule. Like
Yeah.
it's, I mean, come on. And
Right.
again, I think when people slow down, when they value the connection more, and I loved what you said about commenting and engaging in content, because a lot of people, I wouldn't say the majority of people, but a lot of people are very selective and very deliberate about their content. And you and I both know what it feels like. Even if you're the most confident about a topic, the minute you hit publish or send or post, like there's that little bit of creep, like,
Yeah.
ooh, I don't know how this is going to get accepted. And
Right.
how good does it feel when somebody reaches out or reshares your post and says, hey, I really loved this article, I really loved this video, I really loved this thing that you shared. Like I've had posts where it was me saying, hey, one of my biggest posts of all time was me sharing a YouTube video of Ethan Hawke's TED Talk, because it resonated with me and I put my own personal message on it. But at the same time, didn't necessarily have to be me, but I had more interactions off that content because people were like, I needed to hear this.
Mm-hmm.
I was providing value without me saying, you know, if you like this Ethan Hawke video, make sure you sign up for my 12-part course and da 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 da. You know, so I wasn't doing that to people. I was just saying, hey, look, this resonated with me. I hope it resonates with you. But it feels really good when you reach out to somebody and say, hey, Mandy, I loved your article. I loved your video. It really hit home. I just want to thank you for taking the time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
End scene. Like you don't
Yeah.
have to go into a pitch. You don't have
Nope.
to tail it. That relationship build is so critical.
100%. And it makes you feel so good when you get those messages. You know, I've been getting so much love this week, and it makes you feel amazing, right? Just from random people and clients, everyone just, you know, appreciating me and the value that I provide, whether it's free or paid. And it makes you feel good. And so you're naturally going to be like, well, thank you. Like, I really appreciate you telling me that. And boom, you have a stronger connection. It could be a complete stranger, but guess what? I'm going to remember that stranger who
Mm-hmm.
complimented me, you know? And if they reach out and ask me for a favor, I'm going to do it, you know, period.
Right.
So it's just one of those things where take a little bit of time, again, per Bren, slow down the outreach to speed up the outcome. It's not about blasting people anymore. Like the days of blasting are over, you know, that doesn't work
Oh my
anymore.
gosh. Yes.
It worked. It did work in the past because no one knew any better, you know? But
Right.
there's so many people now on this platform and the internet in general that people see right through that, and they don't want to be pitched. They just don't. And so,
Right.
by the way, we're getting Chris said this is the best interview yet, Rich. So congratulations on that.
Chris, your check is in the mail. Thank you so
I
much.
know, right?
Appreciate it.
And John says, reconnecting. You don't know who they know. And if you create thoughtful leadership content in your posts and comments, their connections will more easily see your content. Think of it as free advertising. 100%. And that goes back to building that network.
Yes. And John, yeah, you hit the nail on the head, John. That to me is one of the most, again, it seems so basic. It's one of the most untapped strategies that I think people don't think about. I mean, you have these people who would rather spam your inbox, or thousands of inbox for that matter, or you can do something very thoughtful, something very deliberate, something very value add that now gets shared. Because think about it. So if I write a piece of content, or I share a piece of content, or somebody sees my name on something that is being shared, my network plus their network, the other person's network, and if you have 4 or 5 people that comment or share it or email it to somebody, now all of a sudden, you mentioned earlier, you've now got a team of marketers working on your behalf, putting your brand out there for you. Again, that buy-in, that referral value is so critical. So if somebody says, hey, Rich put out this great article the other day, or did this great video, you got to go check it out, it's fantastic, that is automatically a check mark of referral. And that person is now saying to their network, hey, this guy is good stuff, you got to go check him out. It is one of the most underused strategies. I love doing it, but it's shocking to me when I find out how many people are not doing it.
Yeah, I know. That's why we're here right now, encouraging you all to do it. That's the whole point of us going live. And someone, Jose, has a question, and he says, is there any hybrid way to mix the engagement / commenting and the outreach? Yes, there is. So what I do, and what I recommend everyone, including my clients, do, is you first find the people you're wanting to connect with, obviously. This could be from a sales perspective. It could be if you have, a target ABM list of people, like you want these accounts, you use Sales Navigator, you found the decision makers, you know them. What do you do now? So what we do is we go, and if they post on LinkedIn, this only, obviously everyone doesn't post on LinkedIn, right? So we're going to talk about people who post, and if they don't post, you can do this on the company page. You can engage with the company page, and then you can make comments to people and reference other things. But we're just going to stick with, for time purposes, people who post. What you do is you go and you engage with their posts before you even send a connection request. Okay, so you go, you leave a meaningful comment. Meaningful means more than great post, right? Something that is maybe two plus sentences.
Happy birthday! Congrats on your job. Click, click, click.
Exactly. And you do that on at least 2 of their posts, okay? So you like and you comment on at least a couple of their posts. You wait, however long you want to wait, 3, 4, 2 days. Or if you're in a hurry, you can do it right then and there. And then you mention, hey, hey, Rich, I came across your profile today. I loved your post about X, Y, and Z. And then you say something else about it, about why you loved it. Would love to connect with you if you're open to it. Well, guess what? If you give it a little bit of time, that's why I say wait a couple days if you can. They're going to see, they've already seen your comment, right? They already saw that you liked and commented on their post. So they know that you exist as a human being. They don't know you, but they know your name. And then when you send them that connection request and you mention that content that you already commented on, 90% of people are going to accept your connection request because you helped them. So you guys don't realize too, engaging in people's content is helping them tremendously, because guess what? The LinkedIn algorithm loves comments more than anything. So they're going to show our posts more in the feed when people comment on it. So they already like you because you helped their content. So if they don't accept your connection request, well, then you don't want to connect with them anyway, because they don't have the same mentality you do. So bye, Yeah. But the majority of human beings who are on this platform are going to accept your connection request when you engage with their content and when you toot their horn and tell them how great they are without saying how great they are, right? In a way that makes them feel good and is kind of boosting their ego because you're appreciating their content. So to answer your question, I hope that answers your question, Jose, but that's kind of how we do it. And it's super simple. It's just engage ahead of time, mention their content, and send a connection request. So there's a lot of talk about InMails. Corporate uses InMail a lot because it's basically like cold email. I don't like InMail unless you have to use it. I'm not a fan of using it because people want to, first of all, people don't see your stuff if you just send an InMail. It's just like a cold email. They're not connected with you. And it comes across kind of, InMail is seen kind of salesy anyway. Do you agree, Rich?
I do. And I love, again, and I was laughing as you were talking because I'm a movie buff. And so I was thinking of the old movie Swingers with Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn. Okay. They were talking about how long do you wait to call them? 6 days. It's, you want to, again, it's patience is the name of the game.
Yes.
And I also love what you said about if you're doing the right things and you're not getting the right response, that may not be the client for you in the first place. And so you've actually saved yourself a lot of headache. I mean, I think we've all had at least one client in our career that we're like, God, I wish I could fire you now. Like, I mean, it helps weed out the people that you want to work with, the people that you want to partner with, because at the end of the day, you want to enjoy what you're doing and who you're working with.
Yeah.
Now, I agree wholeheartedly. I think that strategy is genius. And I think that should absolutely wipe out any desire whatsoever to do InMail. And again, I go back, and I know that we've been harping on this, but I can't stress this enough, is that if you're just doing the right thing, if you're doing it for the right reasons, if you're taking your time, to slow down the outreach to increase the outcome, that I'm gonna be using that like crazy. So props to the guy for saying it. But that honestly is just that should be your philosophy when you go into any LinkedIn interaction or any LinkedIn prospecting whatsoever. So I love that approach. And yes, if we can just kill the sales InMail, please.
I know, right? I know. So, we still have to obviously train people, because not everyone, like some people, you can't connect with them. They have it on private, And so in that case, like, you don't have a choice. You could still do the same thing though. You could still make an InMail personalized and not salesy, if you have to send an InMail, if they don't want you to connect with them unless you have their email or whatever it is, I'm so glad Naveed commented this, and I'm so glad he said this. He said, I'm thinking of writing handwritten letters. Great interview, Mandy. I love that. So it's so funny because there is so much power, and I've been seeing this recently, and just the power of like old school, making people feel good the old school way, right? Sending them something in the mail, sending a handwritten letter, right? Because no one does that. No one,
right.
Right. So when you do it, you are going to completely stand out. If you send anything via snail mail, So Naveed, right. I think that's amazing. I love that.
I think, I agree. I think, that I have both bought into that philosophy and have sent my own, and it has made a big difference to me. But again, it goes back to, the golden rule. How good does it feel when you get a simple, and it doesn't have to be a novel by any means. It's, hey, I really appreciated the conversation we had the other day. Or, hey, thanks for taking the time. I really hope to talk to you again soon. Just something simple and thoughtful. That gesture alone is critical. And again, I go back to and even if it's not handwritten, I can't tell you how many times I've thanked a prospect for their time during a pitch meeting, or that I've thanked a client for a client meeting. And they'll write back and say, I really appreciate you doing it. It was an email.
Yeah.
And so even the lost art of the thank you note digitally,
yes,
is shocking. And I also want to touch on one other thing too, that we were kind of getting down the path. When we talk about commenting and prospecting on people's content, when you're sharing people's content or going in and commenting on somebody's post through LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which I think is genius, again, don't forget that unless you're Mandy, or unless you're like Simon Sinek or somebody who's got like hundreds and hundreds of comments, you're probably going to be one of maybe a dozen at most comments. So your chances of you standing out more to that individual that you're trying to make a connection with are so much greater than you realize. The like will do a lot. A comment will do even better. And again, be creative with it. Be a little bit more sincere. Add 5 words when the 2 that you're like, great post, thanks, Scott. Do something a little bit more thoughtful.
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned that. So I saw something the other day that someone said, and they said, I saw this gal's post. It didn't have any likes, didn't have any comments. So I liked and commented on it. She's like, I don't know her that well. She's connected to me. She sent me a message saying, thank you so much. I was so discouraged. I didn't get any likes or comments. I was thinking of deleted it. That made my day, So I'm not even just talking what Rich said. Yes, for prospects, most of the time that's the case. You guys aren't going after major influencers that have 100 comments, plus comments. So your stuff's going to stand out. But do this for anyone. Do this for people you're connected with, because it could make or break their confidence for that day. Literally, you guys, it could take 2 seconds, a like and a comment on someone's post, and it could make their entire day, because they could have just started posting on LinkedIn and they might be super nervous and feeling not confident about it, and they're not getting any activity. And the moment you do that, they light up and they're like, oh my God, that's great. Like, someone did appreciate my content. It makes all the difference in the world. And then not only did you do something amazing for someone, but they're going to remember you because of what you did.
I was applauding because I love that you brought this up, and I can guarantee that you've been in those sessions like I have, where somebody of a stature, a title, a reputation, was like, oh, I'm really nervous about posting this article on LinkedIn. I don't know if I want to do it. And you look at them like, wait, I'm sorry, you're the chief fill in the blank, fill in the blank.
Right.
You're nervous about posting an article on LinkedIn. So don't discount for 1 second the value of just engaging in content, because kind of like anything else, when you're kind to somebody, you don't know what they're going through. And so just a kind, genuine gesture could make somebody's day. Same
100%.
thing with LinkedIn content. And I'm not trying to be Hallmark about this, but they may be sitting there staring at their post, staring at the little bell on the top of the screen and saying, God, I hope somebody likes my article. God, I hope somebody likes this post. And if you're that person, that does so much. I've had a similar instance that you just described, and it's amazing the power that a simple gesture that takes you, 2 minutes max can do.
Exactly. So I want to encourage you guys to obviously do this for, your prospects, no brainer, duh. But do this for people that you're just connected with, that you don't know from Adam, right? Like, do it, because it could make all the difference in the world, and it's going to come back to you somehow, John says, being the good guy or gal is always a way to stand out. Agree, for sure. So,
which again, it's so hard that's such a basic thing. And it's like, you stand out for being good.
For being a good human
I love
being.
it, because, that's okay, great. But it's so bad that we've got to that point of like, just be a good human being for the love of God.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Right. That's what we're here for, guys. That's what we're
Here's our revolutionary topic. Be good.
Be good. So I'm going to open it up to questions now, you guys. We're a little bit over time, but it's okay. Rich, you have a little bit more time? Are you good?
I'm good.
Awesome. So if you guys have questions, let us know in the comments. I'm going to go through a couple right now. Well, Jose, I did answer Jose's question. He says, content to activate the algorithm. Be authentic and follow up. Awesome. It does answer my question. You are welcome, Jose. Rebecca says, what advice do you have on connecting with someone you have met but prefers to be followed instead of connected with? Click the more button, hit the drop down, and hit the connect button. I don't care. I don't care if they'd rather be followed. Connect with them anyway. I literally have a slide on my sales training on LinkedIn that shows people how to click the more button, click the drop down, click connect, and send a message. Because most of, if you flipped on creator mode, or you have more than 30,000 connections, you have the follow button, so it doesn't matter. I would connect with them regardless, Rebecca. And then if they don't accept your connection request, then, that's just kind of weird, especially if you've met them and they're like, I don't want to connect with you, I just want to follow you. I'd be like, okay, then you're not really someone I want to build my network with anyway. That's strange to me.
I completely agree with that too. And it takes like an extra 2 seconds to click on the more button, click the connect, and then send a personal note with the connection request. Hey, great, Rebecca, great to meet you at the cocktail reception last night. Great to meet you at the conference. Love talking about fill in the blank with you. Looking forward to connecting with you soon.
Yep, exactly. Simple. Exactly. And, I was one of the things when I flipped on creator mode a few months ago that I was annoyed about is because I am a connector, not a follower, and I want people to connect with me, Of course, I want people to follow me. Yeah, but I was like kind of annoyed that I had to remove the connect button and it switched to follow, because I like building relationships, So, but do what Rich just mentioned, like send them a connection request anyway. Naveed says, thanks, Rich. Much appreciated. Michael says, welcome. I do the same. If I see a post that doesn't have any likes yet or not many, I like it and comment. Why not, right? I love that, Michael. Exactly. Why not? Evan says, thanks for covering these topics, Mandy. Keep bringing the good stuff. I'm so glad you enjoyed it, Evan. Rebecca says, thanks, Mandy and Rich. Awesome. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let us know in the comments if you have any other questions or comments for Rich. Go follow Rich. He's been tagged in my posts, all my posts this week, as you guys have probably seen. Follow me or connect with me. So please follow Rich. He's incredible. His content's awesome, as you guys know, because you're here listening to him right now on how awesome he is. So please go connect with him. Rich, anything in particular you want people to follow you on, podcasts, anything like that?
Yeah, so I appreciate the shout outs too. So yeah, connect with me on LinkedIn, practice what we preach here, send me a personal note saying, hey, saw you on Mandy's LinkedIn Live. Would love to connect with you. Would love to connect with all of y'all. So if you want to follow. If you want to connect. Let's do this. You can find everything about me at richbracken.com, my podcast, my television appearances. I've got a bunch of whole new speaker content, including a new speaker video. And then I can also share with you our company site, foundrymakes.com. So check out all of the stuff that makes it a worthwhile trip.
Yes, indeed. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you. We hope you found it valuable. If you did find it valuable, please let us know in the comments section if you haven't already. Go follow Rich, and we will see you guys next month. All right? Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mandy.
See you guys.